This is your girl Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's always sunshiny. Let me tell you, I have an amazing show that's going to take place today. But first, I want to talk about some things that are going on in the community of where I'm from, which is Greenville, South Carolina. As most of you know, I'm a domestic violence advocate, and there will be an event that's going to be taking place. It will be on January the 24th from 11 to 1. And you know what? It's called Love Does Not Hurt. I'm going to be with several men and women, and we are going to be sharing our stories. We're going to be talking about what we've been through, our pit to purpose stories, because there will be people that will be there that will need to hear us speak. We need to utilize our voice. So if you want to come join us to show support and also maybe get a feel and connect with Dr. Candace Brewer, how you can connect with her organization, you can show up. We would love to see you. It's going to be taking place at Kingdom New Life Church. It's going to be in Spartanburg County. So you can reach out to me or you can reach out to Dr. Candace Brewer about that. But I want to talk about some of my sponsors today. One of my sponsors is Heart of the Carolinas Home Care. It's also a great organization for two best friends decided that they wanted to come together to help the senior citizens. And it's Andre Harrison and Lamont, Frank Lamont Henderson. I had to think about it. I went to school with him. My mind went blank. But anyway, they're two best friends, and they decided to start this organization, and they wanted just to show some of that TLC to the senior citizens. So if you have, a mom or dad or grandparents or aunts or somebody that you know that you would like to be taken care of, maybe you're busy, maybe you're running around doing things, and you just don't have the energy, and maybe you don't even have the skill or the knowledge of what to do, contact Heart of the Carolinas, located in Malden, South Carolina, or contact your girl Robin Shockley, because I am an advocate for them, and we would love to get you connected to find out how you can get your family member supported by Heart of the Carolinas. You can reach them at 864-990-4345. Also, I want to mention Tangi Roseborough. She is with Pain to Purpose magazine. I'm a contributing writer for this magazine, and I'm so excited to be a part of that because I travel all over the country. I showcase restaurants that I attend and visit in different states and cities, and I talk about the food of my experiences, as well as I write articles with Focus Forward with Robin. And so if you would like for me to write an article about you in the magazine, or if you would like for me to try your restaurant in your town, message me and I may just show up. Who knows? Or if you would like to be a part of this magazine, reach out to me. I can connect you with Miss Tangi Roseborough herself. All right. Well, also, I want to mention I wrote a book. I have a book called Catching the Vision to Focus Forward. It's a 31-day devotional for men and women who have come out of their stuck mentality to walk into their purpose and walk into their calling. And it's just a devotional that the Lord had laid on my heart to write, and I wrote it, and I would love to get you connected. I have hard copies if you want a signature copy, or you can go on Amazon and purchase it yourself. All right, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our stories. I've got 2 great guests that are in the show today, and it's going to be great, so y'all stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to the Focus Forward Robin Show with Robin Shockley here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. I am so excited to have my first guest tonight. I have Mr. Anthony Denard.
What's going on, Miss Robin Shockley?
I'm so excited to have you here. Now, you're going to have to speak up.
Okay, I will speak up.
You will speak up. He is, listen, this guy is a personal friend of mine. He is with 106 Live Radio in Atlanta. We connected on Facebook, and I think we got connected through food.
We did.
Yeah, because Anthony started tagging me of these food chefs who write, because he knew I was a food blogger, and so he started tagging me of these food chefs who do amazing work. I mean, on Instagram and Facebook, and they were so good. And I was like, oh my gosh! So I started following and commenting and stuff, and then we got connected through the radio, where I was actually to be able to be on the radio to share my story.
Got reconnected.
Yes, with Miss Tanasha Gray, and she is an amazing woman, by the way, with the radio. And so I'm just excited to have you on the show today, because we've never really done an official interview.
We have not. This has been in the making for almost a year and a half now.
Oh, he knows how long it's been. Okay.
You and I, we actually were introduced. We had a National Black Chefs Association event here in Atlanta. We actually met on Facebook just by blogging over food. I saw one of your pages.
Yes.
And I started tagging you with those chefs.
Yes.
And we've been friends since then,
I
and
know.
we've done numerous events since then.
Yes. And you know what? I know that I can depend on Antheon, and he knows he can depend on me. We're a great team. We're actually twins. I mean, don't we look alike? Yeah. Because he travels all over the place just like me.
I do.
So tell us a little bit about who you are to start, and then we'll tap into more details.
Well, first and foremost, huge community advocate. I'm one of those individuals who chooses not to talk about what we can do for our communities. I'm more hands-on as to what I can do once I get out into the community. So many times I hear people saying, "No, we should do this, we should do this, or why isn't the city doing this?" So instead of going out and wondering why, I just get out and I do it. I was like, the homeless population. I used to catch riff once upon a time by taking my camera out. I'm a photographer, and I just take photos of what's going on around in the city. And people's like, okay, well, if you're really doing it from your heart, why are you taking photos of it? Well, my reason for taking photos of it because I want to show people how serious it is in our
The
city.
reality
The
of
reality of it, right?
Yes.
When people go downtown, it's kind of like spread out, but just to show how they have been pushed out. But it's like they're pushing them out of the city, but they're not pushing them anywhere. So it's like, they're just mingling around. So it's like, not to show, and you had one of the best posts I had, and I steal it every time. And I can't remember verbatim what it says, but it's somewhere under the lines of, we don't do it for a picture, we do it for the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
Right.
That's
and
right.
That's what,
it's not about, your post is not supposed to be about just that snapshot picture. It's for the bigger picture, the statement that it makes. Yes.
So going out doing that with your cause, with the domestic violence, I'm a huge advocate for that.
Yes.
Lupus awareness, youth advocates.
Okay.
So at-risk youth, I'm sorry. Those are just some of the passions that I have, but I try to put my hand into everything. And I hear it all the time, like, Anthony, you can't save the world. Well, I'm not trying to save the world. I'm just trying to be the better me. As I tell everybody, my grandmother asked me once upon a time when I was young, what's the most important thing on your tombstone?
Yeah.
And me, I thought it was the name. And she's like, no. She said, people will know you. She said, even people know Dr. Martin Luther King, but everybody don't know him. They don't know the day that he died. The most important thing on your tombstone will be that little hyphen in between the day that you were born and the day that you died. What did you serve? What purpose did you serve here on earth? That's what I wanted to be.
I love it. This is why he's my twin. We think so much alike. I love it. I love your passion for people. And the thing is, Anthony is amazing because you're like me. You're behind the scenes a lot with being
Always.
A community connector.
Right.
So he's very private. But he knows how to connect people. And so you have actually connected me, with some great people, like we did the domestic violence thing stuff too, and and lupus, with that, and what is her name? Sweet friend. I love her.
With the lupus?
Yes.
I gotta give a shout out to my girl Monica.
Yes. Monica, yes, so
Yes,
precious.
yes.
And she took a picture. And you know what? You supported me. He bought one of my books that I wrote. And so, he's just a great guy. And I'm just really excited that, the passion that you have for people and that you want to give back. But I want to know, Anthony, why are you so passionate for people? I know you like to do the photography and you like to showcase people. Like you said, it's about the bigger picture. But what got you into doing photography?
Robert, honestly, with the photography thing, it started out as just me picking up a camera and just taking pictures, and once I started doing it, I think I was over in Puerto Rico when I started taking some serious photos of people, and the guy who was actually supposed to be in charge of it, it's like he would take photos, but it would take forever for the people to get the photos. By the time he would release the photos, we've been like 6 or 7 months down the road into something else, and people forget all about it. And once I picked up the camera, I started taking photos of just like intimate shots or just like people doing things that they didn't realize that they were doing, and people would like laugh. And then once they started seeing the photos, they was like, oh, they knew exactly what they were doing in that moment. And so it's like I had an eye for certain things, man. And people like, man, you take photos of things that the the normal person wouldn't take. It's like you really have to have an eye for photography. So my thing is like, when I pick up my camera, it's not a job, it's a passion. And as you know, I have my camera with me every day. Everywhere I go, I take my camera, like just everywhere. Because I never know what I'll see or who I might meet.
Exactly.
And so I keep my camera.
I love that. That's how I am, because you said it's not just a job, it's a passion. And that's how I am with my interviews. And you even spoke that into me, and you're like, Robin, that's you. That's who you are. It just comes natural. And when you have your passion, I always talk about, if you can ever discover what your potential is within, you will be able to understand your purpose. You'll discover it, and then you can run with passion with it. And that's exactly what you're doing with photography. You've tapped into what the potential was of it, because you were recognizing things of, just those moments, and then you said, you know what, this is a purpose in this. There's a reason. This photo makes a statement.
They say a picture speaks 1,000 words.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I would say this too, with our networking that you and I do, I love it so much, Robin, because like somebody just made a comment to me just the other day, and it's like, when you look into a room or even on Facebook, and you just look at the people that you have connected, and I never even paid it any attention, like the people that you and I have met, it's like we've connected so many people, and like it's just like unreal. Like,
I know, I got more. I got somebody. Matter of fact, after the show, I'm gonna tell you something big. We got, how we did that project for the movie producer.
Right.
We got another one.
Wow.
We got another one coming. Okay, and this one's coming from New York.
Okay. Wow.
So, but anyway, I'm just so excited for what's going on in your life. Tell me a little bit, because you're repping today 106 Live Radio.
And my Always Live in Atlanta.
Always Live in Atlanta. Let's break it down. Tell me, what does Always Live in Atlanta mean, Antion?
Well, to me, Always Live in Atlanta is like just me being in I think I've lived in every county there is here in Georgia, almost, in the metropolitan Atlanta area.
Okay.
And my Always Live in Atlanta is like, I want to be on the scene of everything that's going on. Initially, when I got started, I was just trying to give a showcase of people who were considering moving to the Atlanta area.
Okay.
It's like I wanted to give them an insight to what was here in Atlanta that is showcased.
Okay.
As far as restaurants, anything that they had an interest in, I just wanted to show it. And I just didn't want to be in one particular area. It's like I wanted to just be around Atlanta and the surrounding areas to show them that this is what we have to offer in our city. Everybody speaks on New York. Everybody speaks, and by the way, I'm from Buffalo, New York, but everybody speaks from New York, Hollywood, wherever. Atlanta is the place, man. Like, this is the melting pot for everybody.
Everybody says Regina's on my case all the time. When are you going to move here?
This
And y'all, I am
it.
so close to moving here. If I can get me a regular, consistent job, but then somebody's like, well, Robin, you travel to Atlanta, you can travel back to Dreamville to your job. And I'm like, well, I could, because I love my job. So, who knows what could happen. But anyway, I'm working on it. I'm coming really, really close, really close.
We
So
need to get you here because you are here quite frequently.
I am.
And
I'm going to be here for doing a movie thing in a couple of weeks here. So I'm here all the time.
Plus, we have a lot of places that we got to try for food. Like,
Yes.
I have a list.
Oh my gosh.
I have a list.
Yes, and then you got to come up to South Carolina, because Tracy's Promises. We got to go down to Aiken, South Carolina, and try some of that food.
Oh yeah. We have quite a few people in South Carolina.
Yes. So so that's why you chose Always Live in Atlanta. Tell us a little bit what you do with the 106 Live Radio.
106 Live, and I got to give a shout out to my girl Tanasha Gray and her husband Jason Gray, who are the owners of the station. With 106 Live, it's a family-based, Christian-based station. We play all genres of music. We have epic marriages, just Caribbean music, everything. And I'm really just the photographer on there, but Tanasha she kind of like anything that I have that I want her to do, pretty much as far as showcasing on the show or on the platform. She listens to me and she takes a chance with it. And like now we're here in the United States, all in every state and in 187 different countries. So
Wow.
just by, you know,
and I was on her show. Yeah. She is an amazing. And matter of fact, her and Jason are going to be on my show for the Love Month in February. I'm so excited because they have an amazing story themselves.
Yeah,
you know, and so I'm excited to have them. She's a great gal. So yeah, so you go all over representing 106 Live Radio.
I kind of like showcase my own private name, well, personal name. They're always live in Atlanta, but I do the 106 as well.
Okay.
Because both of them are my family. You know, I'm closely connected to both. So.
Yeah, and see, that's what I love about you, Anthony, is because you are very humble. You are a very humble man. And humble, a lot of people take humility in different ways. They think you're lowering yourself, but that's not what it is. You're being humble is that you're recognizing your place and your position with somebody, and you cherish and value that. And so that's how you are. You are very humble with me. You're humble with anybody that you come in contact with. And so
That's what I'm supposed to be, Robin. You know, they say like in business, I hear the people say all the time, you know, there's plenty to go around. You know, even with being humble, you know, it's like I don't want the spotlight. You know, I'd rather see somebody else taking the spotlight, but as long as they're doing it in the right way.
Yes.
You know, I like to stay behind the scenes. I like to showcase those individuals who are not being recognized, and those are my heroes.
Yeah.
You know, you know, matter of fact, when I picked up my camera, I used to be a celebrity chaser, and I thought by me chasing celebrities, it would show people like, okay, well, he knows this person, he can get here, he can do that, and more people will follow me. I get more followers by chasing the local people in the community.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there for a moment because you said when you first started you were being a celebrity chaser. You know what, guys? When I do my interviews, I don't even know who they are until after.
Right.
Regina knows me, and I'm like when I was interviewing Professor Griff, you know, I was like, I didn't know who he was or anything. And I'm sitting here, and then after I do the interview with him, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just with Professor Griff. You know, he was the biggest hip hop rapper back in the 80s, I think it was. And so it was really cool. So I love that, you know, because a lot of people get out here and they want to chase after, you know, these big people with big height, which is good. We need that. But we also need people to recognize people that are making a difference. And that's why I do my show, is because my show's all about helping impact people to know that, you know what, it doesn't matter if you are, you know, your mom, your stay-at-home mom, and you got your business and you're trying to make it, you know, you want to get yourself showcased, you know, I want to have you on the show because you may have a story behind why you want to do this. You want to support your kids. Why do you want to support your kids? Maybe you had a rough childhood and you don't want, you know, your children to have to face things what you did. You know, I want to hear that because there's people that watch the show, you know, that hear these things. So let me ask you something, and I don't want to get too personal with you, but has your life always been like put together? Has your life always been, you know, I know it said you were a Navy veteran as well, so.
No, my life has not always been put together, Robin. As a matter of fact, prior to me going into the military, I had no idea what I was going to do when I came out of high school.
Okay.
It's like just growing up in the projects, it's like I spoke to someone, and they was like, well, maybe the military would be the route out for you. And I was like, nah, I don't know about the military thing from the stories that I heard. Then I ended up talking to a recruiter, and the next thing I know, I was in the military. And it was probably one of the better.
How old were you?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you grew up in the projects, and that was in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
So did you get in?
I stayed in trouble, man. But so
you
like,
did?
Yeah,
Oh my God, little sweet Anthony was in
I
trouble.
stayed in trouble. I mean, I get in trouble now, but I mean,
No, you don't. You just nobody knows that you get in trouble.
Yeah, right. But you know, and the thing is, like, and it was so funny to me, man, because like I would like see the airplanes going overhead, and I never imagined that. I mean, I had never flown at that time, but going into the military, it allowed me to be in a position to where I started servicing multi-million-dollar aircrafts myself.
Wow.
I was a plane captain, you know, just servicing aircrafts like one-on-one, and like I was responsible for individuals going up in the air, and it was like it blew my mind. Like,
wow.
Like, yeah, so
that is really cool. So, do you think going into the service, do you think that saved you from going down a bad path or anything, or do you think?
I'm not going to necessarily say it saved me. It helped a lot. I think what saved me, in all honesty, was God. And I'll say that, and I'll say that to anybody. Like, I literally, You know, because I used to go to strip clubs like faithfully, man. And I made a vow to God that I would never go into a strip club again, Robin.
Wow.
And I think like 3 years passed by and I ended up going into it. I went in one anyway because somebody persuaded me to go in. And I tell you, I collapsed inside of a strip club. The Blue Flame, if everybody want to know, I collapsed. And like,
What do you mean you collapsed?
I fell out. I passed out. I remember the room
Wow.
spinning and I passed out. And like, I remember them telling me, like, they called the paramedics to come get me and all this. And I just told them, like, just walk me outside, walk me outside. When I walked outside, Robin, I tell you, like, that fresh air hit me. And I mean, God is my witness. I felt something come up out of me, man. And I haven't. It's been over 20-something years since I've been in a strip club. And now, when you go into the parking lot of one, I would like go across the street if I drop somebody else.
You're like, oh no, I'm not gonna be straight down again.
So it's just me saving. I think my grandmother praying for me, and me myself praying for myself. That's what saved me.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew at that point, like, it was time for me to make a difference in my own life. It's like I couldn't have anybody. I couldn't depend on anybody to take care of me or to heal me. I had to heal myself, and through prayer,
That's good.
so I did it.
That's good. That's very good. You had to depend on yourself and God.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, a lot of people, they do. They want to escape, and they want somebody else to rescue them.
Right.
You know, and you have to tap in to realize. And I learned this going through my divorce and everything. You know, because I was looking for different people and things and stuff to rescue me, and I had to finally. Regina was one of the big ones that told me, Robin, you got to find peace right where you're at, in your highs and in your lows. I'll never forget that quote, because I did not want to stay in my apartment. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be on the go. I wanted to do all this. And she's like, Robin, I'm noticing you go on the go all the time. Something's going on with you. You need to take time to slow down, catch yourself. And she always helps me with that. But, you know, I was looking for something to do because I didn't have that peace. But once I found that peace, I'm okay to stay at home by myself now. I'm okay to be in an apartment by myself, and through that I took time to reflect and say, okay, you know, what is my purpose? What is it? Am I wasting time? And you know, I had somebody tell me that on the phone today. One of my good friends, Terrell, he said, Robin, he said, you know what, you are doing things. He said, I see you're finally getting it because you've just been wasting the time. Like you said, you was going in the strip clubs and all that. That was just wasteful time. You wasn't gaining anything from that.
Losing money, man. Like
yeah.
I would like go in and I would go in with a budget of $50.
Yeah.
And come out like $100-something if more, cause especially when they start putting the ATMs in there, man. I'm like, so look, I wake up in the morning with a couple of dollars in my pocket. I like, and then go to the bank and like, what the, you know.
Well, I'm glad, honey, that you don't go to the strip clubs no more and spend that money on them
right?
strip clubs. Y'all stay out of them strip clubs.
Yeah, so right now, you know, I found more purpose in spending my money on traveling. I was like, so now I travel. And
you
I go all over the
do.
place,
You go everywhere. Yeah.
Man. I just got back from Milwaukee yesterday and going to Dallas next weekend. So it's like, yeah.
That's
San
awesome.
Juan and,
I know. And I know I got to go with you. We got to do some traveling. I got to try these food places and all this stuff. I'll get jealous of all these food places.
And I am staying COVID safe, y'all. So yeah.
Yeah. He will. He is. He's very sacred with you. He always has his mask on.
They tell me I don't care because I'm going everywhere. It's like, oh, you just don't care about other people. I do care. I'm just not gonna stay at home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're going to be on the go. Oh, my gosh. Well, Antheon, I am so glad that you took the time to be in the studio with me today, be on my show. You were always welcome to hang out with me. You know that.
Let's do it.
Yes. And we definitely got to try some more of these food places, you know?
I have a list just for you.
You got a list just for me. All right.
Yep, I prepared a list just for you.
All right. Well, if people want to get in touch with you and they have an events, because, you know, I have, matter of fact, when you were talking about youth awareness, I automatically had one of my sisters from the World Women Conference and Awards, Miss Amber Lyons, and she works with youth awareness. I got to get you connected with her. Okay. The movie producer coming from New York, we got to get connected with that. There's so many, you know, I always think of you. You're always on my priority list. You're my #1 photographer in Atlanta, so I've definitely got to get you connected. But if people want to get in touch with you and they want you to come out and showcase their event, or they want you to come to their city or whatever, how can they do that?
Well, on Instagram, which is probably my bigger platform, I'm always live in Atlanta, and that's one word, ALWAYSINLIVEATLANTA. Facebook, my name, Antheon Denard, which is ANTHEIONDENNARD.
Awesome.
And that's how they get in touch with me.
Awesome. Or they can reach out to me,
Robin Shockley,
and I'll get you connected.
That's what we do. We connect each other.
We're the community connectors, and we are twins. Don't we look like it? I said.
We look good together, too.
We do look good together, don't we? You crazy. All right, guys, this is Robin Shockley. We're going to take a brief break. I'm going to have my next guest come on, who is an amazing woman. She's got a story because I'm telling you, she literally took that jump, that leap. She came all the way from North Carolina to Georgia recently, and I want to know why. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back, and don't go nowhere. Welcome back, everybody. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network in Atlanta, Georgia. Guys, I am so excited to have my next guest on with me today, Miss Teresa B. Howell. Welcome, sister. Listen, oh my God, we connected on Facebook. That's how we got connected, didn't we? But how did we connect on Facebook?
Well, domestic violence. It was a Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Okay.
And you had a friend that referred you because he knew that you were a domestic violence advocate.
Oh,
So that's how we
okay.
connected.
Awesome. Awesome. And we actually have some friends also out of North Carolina that I believe that we follow the same people. I think Brent Gaskins.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And I think Fitzgerald, Sergio. And so, you know, I see us all tagged in with their stuff and everything. And so, but I've been following you, and you've been following me, and I was on your show. You had me come on and share my story, and I was so thrilled and excited that you had me on your show because it gave me an opportunity to share my story and things that I do for domestic violence advocates and stuff and speak on that behalf. But, you know, as I was following you, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl has done a lot of things. So, Teresa B., tell us a little bit who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm my mom and dad's brat. No, but I I do so much. Where should I start? So I came in the industry originally from writing books.
Okay.
I wrote a book called That Church Life, and the first book sold over 50,000 copies. So within 3 months, I found myself on television. I was at Virginia Good Morning, Fox 16 in Arkansas, and it just took off from there because everyone wanted to know about this book. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm on to something. So I wrote a trilogy of that particular story
Okay.
and turned it into a play. And so in the process of turning it into a play, we had all sold out shows. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm on to something for real,
Yeah.
right? So then I continued to write, and I continued to make connections through the play. And God just told me, go back to Atlanta, go back to Atlanta. I kept hearing it in my dreams. I kept having visions. And I'm like, because I had a really bad experience when I was here in the 90s. So for God to tell me to come back to Atlanta, I was like, God, wait a minute. What you mean go back to Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? And just to tell you a little bit about what happened in the 90s, I was here in 91, 92, and I was about 20, 21 years old. I was roommating with some girls, and they graduated from Clark University.
Okay.
They were supposed to stay here and take jobs, but they told me the week prior that they were leaving, so I became instantly homeless.
Wow.
So I slept in my car for a couple of days. I went to some club with some friends because I didn't let anybody know that this was going on, and met some guy who said, I was telling him my story, and he said, well, I'll put you up in a hotel room for a couple of weeks. And he put me in a hotel room in the hood on Washington Street. Y'all know where Washington Street is if you're from Atlanta. And scared to death because I was by myself.
How old were you again?
I was like 20, 21.
Oh, wow, you were a baby.
Yeah, and but I was one of those that I didn't like people in my business. I didn't want my parents to worry about me.
Yeah.
And so I stayed there for a month, and then I got like a room and board housing, and then stayed there for maybe about 2 weeks, and then went back to my hometown, which is Boston, Massachusetts. And so because of that experience, I didn't want to come back to Atlanta to live. But he said, come back to Atlanta. And it was like the first week I got here, I met Miss Sunshine. I met, I mean, I was
How
just,
did you meet her?
somebody referred her.
Who?
I don't remember. I don't know. I know I'm supposed to be looking at you and not the cameras, right? I don't remember, but we connected somehow.
Yeah.
And her connection led to another connection, which led to another connection. And before you know it, I had like big time celebrities coming on my show because I do shows. So to recap from my story from the play, I came here. Well, before I came here, I started my show back in June, Amplified Exposure Live, and then I have a show called The Heat Seekers. Amplified Exposure is for celebrities. Heat Seekers is for indie artists in the music industry. And then I met this guy who found me on LinkedIn while I was doing the show and said, I'm going to give you a Sony Orchard distribution deal.
Wow.
And I said,
Wow.
I don't know anything about what you're talking about. I just do books and plays. So I had to learn the music business really quickly, and I was just blessed and honored that he saw this in me. He said God told him that I was going to be in the music industry.
Wow.
So God told me to come to Atlanta, and God told him what I was going to do. What God telling you was next?
I don't know.
So yeah, it was just like a revolving door, but it was like doors were just swinging open, wide open. And so I was blessed that some of the connections that I made, and now I'm on Power 108.9 in Atlanta. I'm there twice a month for the show called The Heat Seekers. I have the Heat Seekers magazine, which also features indie artists. I have 3 Roku channels, which feature movies, variety shows, indie artists. You see that? Indie artists.
Yes.
And I was actually asked to be a writer on an upcoming Netflix series called, it's the Frank Lucas story, the actual name of it. Yeah, it's about Frank Lucas's life from childhood on up instead of how they set it up for American Gangster.
Yeah.
And I remember the name. I'm on camera, so I forgot the name.
That's okay. That's okay.
But that particular, I'll get it in a minute. I'm supposed to be with those particular people, Mr. Gary Sturgis, he's been on a couple of Tyler Perry movies,
Yeah.
And Calvin Richardson. Some people know him. So yeah, so there's a couple of there's a couple of people connected, to that movie.
I love it.
The soundtrack will actually go to the Sony Orchard with my distribution. So it's just been connection after connection, blessing after blessing. Blue Magic. That's the name
Blue
of the
Magic,
movie. I
okay.
knew I would remember.
Yes.
Blue
Oh my
Magic.
gosh, I love it. You took that leap. You took that jump, and you literally stepped out on faith. To come here. We talked about this when I was on your show. We talked about what I went through and some of my story about being in the church, in the mega church, and serving the church and keeping a mask on. And you were really intrigued. Now I know why, because you were talking about that book, So let's talk about that. What's that book, that Church Life, about? Because I want to know about that book.
Well, what happened was, so I was married to a minister for 15 years, and we were part of a smaller organization, church.
Okay.
And I realized maybe after 2 years of being in the church
Okay.
that I just didn't like the system.
Okay.
I just didn't like the control. I wanted to be free.
Okay.
I wanted to wear my red lipstick,
Okay.
and I wanted to have my red fingernails.
Okay.
And- okay. I wanted to wear my skirt that may be hugging around my thighs, and I didn't want it to touch the floor.
Okay.
So these were all the things that I had to deal with when, being married to a minister and putting up that facade that everything's all right when it's not. So there was some things going on behind the scenes, and everybody thought we were just the perfect couple. They wanted us to be ministers of relationships. They wanted us to have seminars. They wanted us to talk about how to keep marriage together when they didn't even know that our marriage was like falling apart behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so I finally, it was like a light bulb went off. My mother had passed in 2016 over brain cancer, and it was like once she died, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I got this marriage has to end. I can't do this anymore. It was like I was just so antsy about.
Do you have children?
Yes, we do have 2 children. I have a 23-year-old and a 13-year-old,
Okay.
and I just couldn't take it anymore. I felt trapped. And when the when the book came out, it's not a movie yet.
It's
I hear
gonna
you,
be.
Lord.
Yeah.
When the book came out, it was too much for him
Okay.
because it was
Okay.
taking me out of the home,
Okay.
and I couldn't bang pots and pans anymore, and so it was a problem. So I said, my brother in Christ, it's time to cut the cords because I'm not cooking anymore.
Yeah.
So, it was just one of those things where the changes weren't accepted. He wanted to support, but he didn't know how. He wanted to be proud of me, but he didn't know how, because he wanted me there to do the things that I used to do.
Yeah.
And I had changed. I was no longer cooking.
Yeah.
And I was,
You were living your purpose. You were finding yourself, your
Right.
identity. Yeah.
Right. And so it dawned on me one day when I went away for a book tour, and I came back. This was like, let me see, June or July of that year that my mom died, 2016. And I was just sitting at the kitchen table, and I was crying, and I was like, Lord, you're just going to have to help me through this, because I don't know what's wrong with me. I thought like something was wrong with me because I wanted to get away from this stuff. But in reality, I needed to get away, because that's, like you said, I was building my purpose. And he came in there and he said, are you still crying? I said, yeah, because tears, I'm crying. My mother had just passed 2 months ago. She's been dead for 2 months. Why are you still crying? He said, you need to be worried about what we gonna eat.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Y'all hear me out there? Okay, yes. And I said, well, I said some things I can't say. I can't say.
Yeah, this is a curse-free show.
Yeah,
so,
I can't say what I said. But let's just say that I had to repent later. And I gave him a piece of my mind, and I said, I'm just ready to leave you. Like, I can't. It was like a form of control. So even though it wasn't physical abuse, it was still verbal abuse. And
Yes.
verbal abuse can be worse than
Oh,
physical.
there's physical, verbal, spiritual. You know, I mean, there is all kinds of different abuses. It's not just physical. Yeah.
Right. And the thing about it is when you are married to someone in the church that is well known, nobody believes you when you tell them that there's something wrong. Nobody believes you.
Yeah.
And so I had a very hard time. I felt like I was being shunned from the church, and it was just it was something. So once I got divorced, I said I'm moving to Atlanta.
Wow.
So I got divorced in June.
Oh, so you're freshly divorced.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this year?
Uh-huh.
Oh, this past year?
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
We need to have a party.
Yeah, we do.
I'm just saying.
Celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on.
So-
Single life, good times. Come on.
Yeah, it's a good life. I'm telling
It
you.
is a good life. It is a good life. Yes,
That's
sister,
what I'm
I love my
talking
single
about.
life. Now, I don't want to always be single, but
I'm enjoying it.
I am. Yeah, embrace it. I've been in it going on 4 years now, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you're ready to probably have that one. I am not.
Yes.
Okay. I am enjoying myself. So
Yeah.
October 1st, I moved here, and I've been having fun ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, girl. So that church life was the beginning of something that just grew and grew and grew and grew. And I love the fact how Teresa B talked about connections, you know, how she got connected. And, you know, I'm always saying, get yourself in the room and let the room work for you. That's my motto. That's one of my speaking platforms that I speak on. And that's kind of like what you've done. You just kind of like made connections with this person to that person that led to this person to that person. That's what we were talking about earlier with my guest before. And so that's so important to that. How do you have the confidence that you have? Tell me, where does that come from?
Well, I didn't when.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not because I was a very shy person. So.
No.
Yeah, girl.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
shy.
that was me too.
Yeah, I was very shy and I was very timid.
Okay.
And when I wrote that book and I had to go out there and produce numbers for that book because
Okay.
that's what I wanted to do, yeah, I eventually became a public speaker.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm talking on the radio. So, yeah.
Yeah, just one thing led to another. I love it. I love it. So there's men and women out here, and they're wanting to get their pursuit out there to say, you know what, I like to talk, you know, but I don't know if I could ever be a public speaker. Or I like to write. I journal, but I don't know if I could ever write a book. What would be your encouragement for them to say, you know what, you can pursue your dreams?
Well, as far as the public speaking, just practice. I would get in front of a mirror and I would watch myself talk. And I noticed when I first started, I was So I would count how many times I would say until I didn't say it anymore. And so that was one of my strategies. I just said it.
Yeah.
And as far as the book is
I say all the time. So yeah.
as far as the book is concerned, I just happened to be someone that was very popular in school. And my mother traveled with military, so I followed her through the military experience.
Okay.
And each city that I actually lived in, I would go there and do a book signing.
Okay.
So people would remember me from being a cheerleader or singing in church or whatever
Okay.
in that particular city. And so that's how I made the connection.
That's how you made that connection. You know, you talked about you used to stand in front of the mirror. I did too. I used to sell Mary Kay, and I wanted to have something extra to do, and I did it for 20-something years, and but I used to get my kids, and they would sit in front of me, or I would sit in front of a mirror, and I would just, pretend that they were my customers, or I was my customer in front of the mirror, and that's how I learned to do public speaking myself. So I feel you on that. So Teresa, I've been so excited to have you on this show. You are just a breath of fresh air. I love your sweet
you for
personality. Yes, and I'm glad that you're here. And so if people want to get in touch with you, they want to connect because. Goodness gracious, girl, you are got it going on. You're doing everything, especially with the music and the celebrity show and all this thing, the magazine, everything. If people want to get in touch with you, what can they do?
They can contact me, Teresa B Productions, at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes, Teresa B Productions at gmail.com. I was about to say the website because the website is being formulated, and so I was about to say .org, but it's not finished yet, so I don't want to give that out.
Yeah.
And they can also contact me at info@teresabhowell.com.
Okay.
Or they can call you.
Or they can call your girl Robin Shockley with Focus Forward Robin, because I am the community connector around the world. All right, and you can look you up on Facebook too, right?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as the host Teresa B. I'm on Twitter as the host Teresa B. I'm on Facebook as Teresa B. Howell, Teresa B. Author Teresa B. Productions, and the Heat Seekers.
She's all over. Just Google her.
Just
Google her.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, I can be easily contacted, or you can just go to my website and send me an email. TeresaBHowell.com.
I love it. I love it. Guys, this has been an amazing show. I'm going to tell you, we're going to recap. We're going to bring our other guests on, and we're going to finish out. We're going to talk about a few things. But guys, if you're watching this show today and you're trying to discover yourself, your identity, what it is that you want to do with your life, get out of that stuck mentality. Like, want to just become an actress, or you want to become a singer, or you want to become, a columnist writer, or a photographer, whatever it is. Get connected with somebody that can help you. Get yourself in a room, sow into that person. One of my other platforms is sow where you want to grow. Invest into somebody else. Not necessarily you invest money, but sow your time. Yourself, because you never know who you're going to connect with, who's watching you. People are watching you.
Yes, they are.
So we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back, and we'll bring on Anthony Denard, and we will recap, okay?
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's always sunshiny. And let me tell you, we had an amazing show today. This show was all about purpose pushers, talking about, recognizing what your identity is, talking about, how you can just pick up a camera and take snapshots and make a purpose with it and make a statement, or how you can just jot some things down from your own experiences and write a book. That's exactly what this is about. If you are somebody that's out there and you're wanting to do something, you need to connect with these two, because these definitely are purpose pusher people in the world today. I'm so glad you guys were on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I love it. So I want to ask you guys a question. If somebody wants to, as we, regroup and everything, after hearing your stories and what you've been through and what has occurred in your life and things that you've done, there could be people that are watching the show today and they're just not sure what they want to do with their life, and they don't even know what steps to take. And as I always say, get yourself in the room, or sow where you want to grow. grow. But what would be, what would you say, Teresa B? How would somebody get connect and to take that jump? Because you walked out of a marriage and said, enough is enough. I'm not going to be that woman anymore. I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to be that woman for him. I'm going to be the woman for me. And you did that. And so there's a lot of women that could be out here, and they're trying to, shuffle. I get emails and inbox messages all the time from, women that they're afraid. They don't know what to do. They might not even be dealing in the physical like I did, but they're just insecure and they don't know how to take that step to get out and be bold and brave. So what can you say to encourage them?
Well, everyone has a different story. It took me 4 years. So it's not easy, especially when you have invested a lot of time. Because, we had already been together a decade before I decided that this was not for me. But it's just something you have to be very spiritual about, and get through it with whatever your higher calling is. My higher calling is Jesus Christ, and so that's who I called on for help. And that's the only way I would have made it, because I didn't have any friends to talk to. I didn't have any,
Yeah, because you can't tell when you're going through things and the emotions in your private life as being a pastor's wife and all that stuff. You can't share, your personal business out there with just anybody.
Right. And he's connected to a whole slew of churches, and so I had to tiptoe around things because I was always trying to save his reputation. Always.
Well, what? You were what?
I was always trying to save his reputation.
Okay.
Didn't save mine, but would save his.
So let me ask you a question about saving a reputation, because I can relate to that. So why were you trying to save his reputation and thinking of him? Because of who he was in the church? And so what made you say you were going to belittle yourself to let that go? Why do you feel like you were stuck in that? Because there's people that are watching this right now, and they're relating right now. So they're banking on something that you got to say that can give them some hope and encouragement.
Because that's what the church teaches. They teach you to be that wife for him.
That Proverbs 31 woman.
Yes, they are always talking about how you need to be that wife, and they talk about how you need to be a husband as well. But if you're not the wife that you're supposed to be, oh, that's a sin. But it's okay for a man to do what they want to do in the church, because he's a man. That's what men do. That's how they present it. That's what men do.
What do you think about that, Anthony?
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that one. I don't know how to take that one.
I'm just, it's one of those situations where you can't win if you have a public figure in the church.
Yeah.
You can't win. So, I was going to lose regardless. And when I finally realized that, I'm going to lose whether I stay or whether I go. So I chose to go.
You chose to go.
I'm just
All
saying.
right.
It's not-
Yeah, I mean, you got some boldness in you, girl. You kind of like walking in your fearless mode.
Okay.
Yeah, sister. All right. Well, Anthony, let's kind of change gears a little bit. Let's talk about you with what you're doing with your life, and you're making purpose with Always Live in Atlanta, being a photographer. What if there's some people out here that they want to do something, and they're trying to just figure out what they want to do? I always say, go back to your childhood. What is it that you enjoyed doing when you were a child? You can still do it. Like, I always wanted to be a school teacher. I never got a degree in being a school teacher, but I ended up being a teacher. I ended up teaching in a private school where I didn't have to have a degree, and I ended up being a teacher in church. And now I'm a teacher. I mentor. I've taught workshops and things like that. So you don't actually have to have a degree in that particular field. Like you didn't go to photography school. So what can you say to give hope to the man or woman that's watching today that they have a talent that they want to discover within themselves? How would you encourage them to do that?
Well, I always say, like with myself, I did not go to school to learn photography. One of the things that I did do is, like, once I picked up the camera and I started shooting and I started seeing how my photos would turn out as opposed to somebody who I thought was a professional. And what I would do is, like, I would mimic some of the things that they would do, or I would ask questions to those individuals. Like, you do have people out there who will help you.
Yeah.
And I just started going through YouTube and just, like, learning the aspects of my camera. I like do different shots to practice my shots, night, day, and how I can get certain images to transform into the way I want them to transform.
Okay, you said a key thing. You said that you would practice and you would go to YouTube. So the practicing and go to, that means you took action.
I
You
took
came up
action.
with an action plan. You just didn't talk about it. You actually put your action
Talk
in
about
work.
There are people out in the industries who will help you, and there are some who won't help you. It's like, well, I went to school for it. You need to do the same thing. Well, you know, it's all in who you talk to. And one of the biggest things that I found in myself is like I don't follow cliques. So that's one thing that that was key to me. It's like I would go out and I would put myself into the room, like you said. I used to be a very shy person. Well, like going in, I wouldn't talk to nobody. I would just go in the room and I would just stand back and look. Once I realized that I could go around, I started networking with people. I found out who I can hang with and who work with photography, and I would start doing shots with those individuals. They asked me to come out and to pose.
Wow, wow. That is amazing. I love that. You said I can't see you being shy.
I was.
Oh my gosh.
I'm shy right now.
No, you are not shy. You're sweet shy,
I'm sweet
I guess.
shy, yeah.
All right. Well, guys, it's been amazing to have you guys on my show today with Focus Forward Robin. It's just been an honor and a thrill. I look forward to making more connections with you, with other people. I've got some people I'm going to send your way too. I've already, all the things that you're doing, I got to send you a whole list. So, guys, this has been an amazing show. Make sure you share this show. Tag somebody that needs the encouragement, to focus forward. Get out of their stuck mentality. If you are wanting to make a connection here with the Focus Forward Robin show, make sure you reach out to me. You can find me all over. You can Google me like Teresa B. You can find me all over social media. I am a community connector. I do Focus Forward Robin Facebook page as well as my Robin Shockley page. Or you can connect with me at the Regina Sunshine Global Network page. So, guys, this has been an amazing time to have you here, and I thank you for being on the show.
you.
Remember, if you're going through something and you want to come out of that stuck mentality, if you think about it, you will believe it and you will achieve it. And that's exactly what these two guests are doing here today. And if they can do it, you can too. You guys be blessed and happy evening.